Housing Subcommittee, following the introduction of regulations by the government enabling local authorities to conduct their meetings remotely in light of the current coronavirus pandemic. So first off, for anybody who's listening at home, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Councillor Andy Newman, and I'm the chair of the Housing Subcommittee. This meeting is being streamed live on the Council's YouTube channel to enable members of the press and to the public to observe the meeting. And I would firstly like to welcome everybody to this meeting. Because this is being streamed, I'm going to take the opportunity to ask everybody present to introduce themselves. When they introduce themselves, if they just could turn their camera and their microphone on and introduce themselves. So can we start with Councillor Linda Bell? She's here.
Hello, I'm Linda Bell. I'm the Wallsend councillor.
Fantastic. And Councillor Linda Dark?
Yes, hello, good evening. I'm Councillor Linda Dark from Killingworth Ward.
And Councillor John Hunter?
Councillor John Hunter from Bowden.
And Councillor Pam McIntyre?
Chair, I don't believe that Councillor Pam McIntyre has joined the meeting as of yet.
No problem. I know Councillor Erin Parker Leonard is having troubles with her internet, so she's hoping to join as soon as it gets sorted out. Is Councillor Alan Percy present? I'm sure he is. I'm sure I've seen him. Councillor Alan Percy? I think we'll come back to Councillor Percy. Councillor Thurloway?
I'm Councillor Matthew Thurloway. I'm the councillor for Wallsend Ward.
And then Councillor Walker?
Hello, I'm Councillor Joan Walker from Longbenton Ward.
Councillor Wheatman?
Hi, I'm Councillor Wheatman. I'm a councillor for Tynemouth.
And Councillor Wilson?
Hi, yes, I'm here, Councillor Matt Wilson from the Preston Ward of North Shields.
And I'll try Councillor Percy one more time. No.
Councillor Percy, yeah.
Fantastic. You just turn the camera on, Councillor Percy.
I don't know how to do that.
No problem. Right, so we've got a couple of council officers here as well. So I could ask Councillor Paul Worth to introduce himself, please, from the council officer.
Yeah, my name's Paul Worth. I'm Senior Manager for Housing Operations.
And Emma?
Good evening, Emma Fagan from Democratic Services.
Brilliant. And I believe we've got Liz Archer and Toby Harrigan Brown.
Hi, I'm Liz Archer. I'm the Housing Options Manager.
Hi, I'm Toby Hartigan Brown. I'm the Housing Service Manager for Neighbourhoods.
Brilliant. So we're going to go on to item 1, which is apologies for absences. I know Councillor Parker Leonard is having issues at the moment, but she is hoping to join the meeting. Do we have any other apologies?
Sorry, Chair, can I just say that I think Councillor Erin Parker Leonard has actually joined for now.
Oh, fantastic. Do we have any other apologies for absences?
No, Chair, no apologies for absence.
No problem. And then can I move on to item 2, which is substitute members? I take it there's been no substitute members either.
No, that's correct, Chair.
And can I invite members to declare any interest they may have? No, fantastic. Can I ask the members to confirm the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 27th of January 2020? Do you agree the minutes? Fantastic.
Agreed.
So it was decided at the informal meeting to discuss topics of conversations, and one of the ones that members were very keen on getting an update on was the budget implications of the coronavirus. So can I ask Paul Worth to take us through the presentation in relation to this item?
Hi everyone. What we've actually done in regards to how it's affected income. So I've asked Toby Hartigan-Brown to come along because he's the expert in regards to rental income in relation to the how we've been managed rent arrears and what the impact is on rent arrears, how we've been supporting our tenants during this time, and what we're going to do moving forward. Toby will highlight in regards to the level of rent arrears and how that has impacted individuals across people who are on benefits, full rent payers, and people who are on universal credit. So probably the best thing to do is to hand it over to Toby to go through it, and I'll come in at the end and highlight any issues that comes out of that.
Okay. Are you happy for me to come in? I can share my presentation. I'm probably aware that you've already received a copy, but there's just a slight a tweak, and I'll talk you through as I'll get it up. So I'll just get it ready to share for you now.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, you'll see it popping up on your screens now, and I'll do it. So hopefully, is that okay? Can everyone see that at the moment?
Yes, Toby, thank you. That's come up fine.
Just apologies. If you do raise your hand, I won't be able to see it at the moment during this presentation. So if you do have any questions, please do interject as I go through this at the moment, because I can only see the sliders at the moment. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll start from now. So the first part of the presentation for you is for myself, the Housing Neighbourhood Services Manager. And it's the effects of COVID-19 on the housing revenue account. So what I thought I'd start off first is with just a bit of background information in relation to this from the government's position. As from the 18th of March, as you can see in the presentation, the government announced a complete ban on evictions and new possession cases during the coronavirus emergency. The government took early steps to introduce legislation that required the landlords to give 3 months' notice of their intention seeking possession of a property, as opposed to the standard 4-week notice, which would normally be applied for social council tenants. This meant it will be 3 months before the landlord could apply to the court to proceed with any possession actions, and the legislation was that for notices be issued between the 26th of March and the 30th of September. However, on the 29th of August, as the impacts of coronavirus were still being felt, the legislation slightly changed again, that actually the landlords were required to give a 6-month notice period with the intention of seeking possession, except on the most serious of cases, and those are for ASB, domestic abuse, fraud, rioting, and 6 months of unpaid arrears. So that would mean it would revert back to a 4-week notice. For those that had a 3-month notice, though, during the period of March through to the 28th of August, was still valid during that time. Background of North Tyneside Council during this period, though, was we stopped any new cases going to court, and any that had dates for court hearings, we asked the courts to adjourn and suspend. We cancelled all arrear letters that mentioned any reference to taking any court action for eviction, and we suspended our rent escalation process, which would normally send out letters every month for those that were in arrears. We created, though, a new suite of letters during this period, which was much more in a supportive manner and how we could help our tenants during this difficult time of the impacts of COVID-19. We then created new codes in the management system, also to capture all cases where our tenants have informed us of our financial difficulties during the COVID-19. And this helped us understand what the impacts of COVID had on the arrears, but also helped us to look at what support can be provided depending on their circumstances. Now, we have support measures already in place, but we have also brought in some additional support for helping our tenants and residents of North Tyneside Council. So discretionary housing payments, which have been previously used, was continued, and it was actually increased the level of the amount which was available for that, but it was only applicable for those within on receipt of benefit of some sort. The poverty intervention fund was created of £1 million, to helping those of working age adults with children and for older people. The hardship fund, which is applicable only for council tenants of 100k. This was also an additional to the housing discretionary housing benefit payment. Water rates discount scheme, which was set up by Northumbria Water, which we are in partnership with, and this will be eligible up to 50% of the discount of their water rates, depending on their finances. So if they're on less than £16,500 as a family, they could be eligible for a discount rate, and it's something we are currently actively promoting. Employment and skill referrals team still there, and we're still referring for those or looking for employment opportunities or access to increased skills. And we continue to make referrals for a Citizen Advice Bureau, a council tax subsidy, and Armed Force charity support for our Armed Force dedicated officer. So what did the impacts of COVID-19 have? The arrears had gone up. That was something we anticipated, and currently is about 7%, but there will be some slides a bit later on I can share with you, which will give you a bit more of a flavour of how that's gone up and where it is most being impacted on. The influx of UC cases at the beginning of lockdown, and again, this will be captured a bit later on in another more slides for you. The initial impact of rent loss following not being able to let properties. At the initial lockdown in March through to May, construction and industry was stopped, meaning that any current council properties we had, i.e. our voids, were not able to be let, meaning a loss of any potential revenues during that time. However, there was a small amount we could let to those who were of homelessness and those who were fleeing from domestic abuse and violence. And the impacts also was the enforcement and legal action. Whilst we took the approach to support our tenants and rather than taking any enforcement action at that time, this did unfortunately mean that there were some residents that chose not to pay rather than could not pay, and without having difficulty in relation to trying to maximise income from those, which has impacted towards the amount of the arrears increased. Now this slide here will give you the current position with our rent. The dark blue line is the last financial year 2019-20. The red is our projected trend, and the light blue is where we're currently at the moment. So the arrears at the start of the financial year was 3,206,475, and we're seeing an increase of 7%, as mentioned in the previous slide, of up to, which is currently £226,215 increase since the current date of the 15th of November. This means the arrears as it stands right now is 3,432,688. Over the same period last year, we did see though a 7.85% increase. So the year end, we're anticipating the figures falling 3,478,707, which is a total of 8.4% increase. And at the moment, even with the impacts of COVID,